Hello. I'm really, really sorry for what you're going through right now. It's difficult. It's sad. Um, a lot of emotions. But I'm sorry, and I'm hoping I can help a little bit. Hi, I'm Ed. With me in retirement. Hoping you allow me to walk through your retirement with you. The good, the bad, the ugly, the difficult. So let's get started. I've got some notes here. I can't memorize all this. I'm getting old. Um, and there's a lot, really, a little detail too. So you'll see me refer to these notes probably quite a bit. How to prepare for the loss of your spouse. I've broken it down into really three areas. The preparation, first the practical. Bills have to get paid. Preparation for the emotional. And then thirdly, what life looks like afterwards. So let's just start with the practical. This can be a little bit cold, I guess, but these are things that really need to get done and help get ducks in a row, sort of. First, start with the paperwork. You want to make sure you have wills gathered, not just gathered, but distributed. If you have a chance ahead of time to do that, make sure your clergy might have something, your doctors have something, maybe the executor of your wills have something. So you want to get that squared away, along with any advance directives, wishes, all the paperwork that we would talk about, what to do, where to go when you lose your spouse. Have that all in line. Powers of attorney for financial and medical. Have them filled out in the appropriate places. More than that, you want to have a good grasp of the financials. If you're the one handling the finances already, you're in better shape. If you haven't been doing that and your spouse is the one doing that and they're still here and can help teach you some of that, you want to get on that. If that's not the case, then you do want to try to gather up all your accounts, savings, checking, investments at the bank, whether it's CDs or something else, stocks and bonds, different institutions, any pensions and retirement income, 401ks, IRAs, all the accounts that you have in both your names and their name. Make sure you have all of them and have access to them. So part of that's gathering passwords. I can remember a time in life when you need a password for everything, anything. Now you need one for everything. I mean, just grocery shopping, you got to punch in a number to get the 15 cents off discount. So gather up passwords, access to cell phone. You're going to have a lot of information in the cell phone that you might not have otherwise excuse me, you might not be able to get into or have access to. List of names, phone numbers, people you need to contact. Maybe they had a friend that you didn't know very well or didn't associate with a whole lot. Maybe it was a golf buddy or somebody they hung out with outside of the house that was a friend of them, but maybe not so much of the family. And there's lots of people like that that we are out there that we're unaware of. I'm unaware of some of my wife's closer friends. Even, she talks to them on the phone a lot because they're out of state. We never see them, but I might have them in my phone, but she's got them in hers, so I need to have access to that. Social media accounts. You may or may not appreciate 3 months from now, after your spouse has passed, Facebook sending out a birthday announcement to everybody in the phone. You may like that. You may not want that to happen. So you want to have access to these accounts so you can so you can either delete them or disable them or continue with them. Death certificates, you're going to need multiple death certificates. Your institutions, your financial institutions will require them to maybe remove them from an account or remove their name off of your account. I know that seems harsh, but these things tend to need to happen. If there are bills in their name, you need to get them switched over to your name. Some of them are going to require these types of documentation. Again, the big one is making sure you understand the finances if you haven't done it. There's a lot of bills that need to get paid, whether it's just the electric or the phone, if you have a mortgage or a payment, and you're not used to doing it, get a list going of all these different bills that need to be paid, financial decisions that need to be made. Things are going to change. Maybe there's a payment he was making on a product or subscription that he or she had that is no longer needed. You need to cancel something like that. Get somebody to help with this. Lean on a friend, a family member, a child, maybe a neighbor that's gone through this, and is a little more familiar with these steps. But this is a lot of the practical work that just needs to get done. You need to handle. And you don't want to be trying to just get started with all this and learn all this when you're going through the grieving problem or issues. All those emotional roller coasters that you're going to be on. Try to get a leg up on some of this practical stuff. The emotional preparedness, they often call it anticipatory grief. You can get a leg up on your grief and actually start that a little bit early. If you have a loved one that might be in hospice or the end is really near, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to be mad, frustrated, sit, stew, be upset. There's no timeline. You're allowed to have fear, you're allowed to feel numb for as little or as long as necessary in any one of these areas or others that I haven't mentioned. But you can start that process early. And if you happen to be, dare I say, lucky enough that your spouse is still here, have hard conversations, have difficult conversations, have meaningful conversations. Say I love you over and over. Let them know how much you appreciate them sharing their life with you. Talk about some of those fun times, or those raising the kids or vacations or just stupid arguments. I'll repeat this probably again, I hope, but you're going to hear people say, maybe a few months have passed or longer, but people are going to say, geez, you got to move on. You got to get over this. You can't just carry this with you forever. Don't listen to it. Ignore it. I heard a great phrase, I'll repeat, like I said. You don't move past your grief. You learn to move forward with it. Think about that for just a second. You don't move past your grief. You learn to move forward with it. For example, many, dare I say most, widow or widowers talk about their spouses if they're still here, because in many ways they really are. You see them every day in your children, in your home, in your memories, in your activities. Maybe an old crappy patch job on the wall for the drywall is just there, and you see it and it just conjures up a chuckle. So they are very, very present, and they're often talked about. And that's carrying grief with you. You're going to have it for years and years and years to come, the rest of your life, but you'll learn to move forward with it. So the emotional is a roller coaster, but take all the time you need to go through it and get through it. And you'll come out the other side of it, grieving a little bit differently, smiling a little more, crying a little less, But make no mistake, you'll have memories 15, 20 years from now that will make you cry, make you smile. It just never goes away. And you learn to actually like it. Even if you're remarried and have raising a new family, those memories of those days are going to be there. And it's kind of a good thing. Moving on after, living life after, preparing for what's next. Again, very difficult because you didn't just lose a spouse. You lost that person that was your best friend, your confidant, your companion, slept next to you every night for years. They're no longer here. You are without them. And life is going to look different, feel different. Start small tasks. You're going to be taking over tasks that they used to do. If they did used to write the bill, if they did mow the lawn, if they did do the laundry, if they did do the dishes, if they did do the shopping, if they did do stuff that you didn't. Start learning some of those tasks now. Slowly, day by day. A big one's going to be dropping anchors. You just lost your main anchor. Whether you ever use that word or understand that totally, your spouse was an anchor in your life. You depended on that person. You leaned on that person. You loved that person. Still do. But now that anchor isn't there. And you're feeling extremely emotional roller coaster, spent, defeated, deflated. You're like that ship at sea with no anchor, no wind in the sails, just drifting around. So you want to drop anchors. And that might just be inviting a friend, a family member, a neighbor over for tea every day. Maybe you go to their house. Maybe you go back and forth. Maybe you just go to a coffee shop down the street. Maybe that becomes an anchor. You're sitting there and maybe write in your journal. Think about the tasks you have to do today. Make little lists. It's going to be hard to remember everything. Maybe that place becomes an anchor for you to sit and just make a plan day by day. You'll develop more anchors as time goes by. And they're small. They're not going to hold that floating sailboat by itself. You'll need to drop multiple anchors until you have enough anchors where you get your feet firmly on the ground. And moving forward seems more possible. So, again, you're not going to move away from grief. You don't move on from it. You don't move forward without it. Leave it behind you. You'll learn to move forward with your grief. And you will. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being here. This is in no way a complete and total list of things you are going to go through and need to go through and will go through, and for the emotional, the practical, and the afterwards. It's a start. I really hope I've helped a little bit. If I have, please comment. Let me know. I appreciate you so much. And again, I'm sorry. I really am. God bless you.